Good morning. Buenos dias. And welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Antonio. Our weekly service is where we connect, share information, and inspiration. I am Carol Collins, and my pronouns are she, her. I found this church so that I could attend an LGBTQ Pride conference here. Now I enjoy work in our church library and work with our Green Sanctuary team, including rescued primates too and wildlife supply collections. After today's service, I'll have cotton bags. They could be used instead of lots of plastic bags. I hope you'll pick up one as you leave. Our faith is all-inclusive, and all means all. We strive to enact a universal love that binds us in mutual care and affection. Please read our land acknowledgement with me. As a part of our work for justice for our planet and all its people, we covenant to recognize that San Antonio, also called Yanaguana, is originally the homeland of the Wahil Takan people, who have lived here for 8,000 years. We support them as they address systemic oppression and work to protect their land and traditions, because they are knowledge keepers in this area, including them in decisions about this land and its people will benefit us all. We invite those who are visiting us to rise so we can see you and greet you. If you're interested in becoming a member of this community, please ask any member or staff. There's a place for you here. We have a membership book that you sign, and we ask that you make an annual contribution to help the ministry. If you are new to us or visiting for the first time today, we invite you to fill out a yellow visitor's card. We'd like to get to know you and follow up with you. In case you're wondering, we saved the last 2 pews for those who might need a last-minute seat. After today's service, please join us in the fellowship hall for a fun lunch in support of our Community Responsibility Endowment Fund. Nominations are open for CREF's 2026 Grant Awards. Also, we invite you to visit our Spring Committee Fair on the patio to learn more about the work of the church and how to get involved. Wherever you are on your life's journey, we hope you will find your place with us. Now I invite you to greet your neighbors so you can extend a warm welcome to those who are on journey with us.
I call on the East, power of air, place of the rising sun. We honor your cooling breezes. Welcome, East. Air is sacred. I call on the South, powers of fire, place of great zeal and spark, which sometimes overwhelms us. We work to harness your energy for the benefit of all. Welcome, South. Fire is sacred. I call on the West, power of water, place of that which sustains all life. We ask that you continue to nourish us. Welcome, West. Water is sacred. And I call on the center, power of spirit, place of togetherness for all that has gone before and will be in the future. We ask for your help and understand how to hold all life in a connected circle. Welcome, center. Spirit is sacred. And now we have our opening hymn, number 1069, Earth Song Mashup. Stand if you will, or as you're comfortable.
We have conquered singing in rounds. Today we're giving you a challenge of a mashup. So that's two songs that are going to be sung at the same time. But first, let's review 1073, because the last time this church sang this was in 2015, and you've slept since then. So Jaime is going to play that through with us, and we're going to sing 1073 to remind you. Here we go. The earth is our mother, we must take care of her. The earth is our mother, we must take care of her. Hey, Yunga, oh, Yunga, hey, Yung, Yung. Hey, Yunga, oh, Yunga, hey, Yung, Yung. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to sing 1069, turn to 1069, Ancient Mother, which we do here every year, so you all know this one. And then we're going to flip really quickly to 1073 and sing that. And then you're going to have your choice of either singing 1069 or 1073. You pick. And we've got the flutes will be playing at the end of both songs. And let's see how this goes. Okay, so it's 1069 first. 1, 2, 3. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your taste. The
We gather today to expand our sense of community. We draw the circle wide to include all human kin and our more than human relationships in nature. We light this chalice to honor the full living earth community. We want to acknowledge that today's reading, visioning, and presentation, all of which take place after the children's recessional, will delve into the challenging realities of climate change and the devastating impact of heat on some of our neighbors. This may be difficult for children to hear. It may be difficult for adults to hear. We invite you to pay attention to your body and your heart as you listen. If you need to close your eyes, breathe more deeply, stand up and move around, or step out of the room, please take care of yourself.
We are called as Unitarian Universalists to build the beloved community where all are welcome as blessings. Let's recite our covenant that articulates our promises and binds us together. Please read together. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other. El amor es la doctrina de esta iglesia. Su sacramento es la búsqueda de la verdad. Y su oración es el servicio. Convivir en paz, buscar sabiduría en libertad, dar a la unidad nuestro servicio fraternal, para que todas las almas crezcan en armonía con la vida. Así pactamos el uno con el otro. We have an update on our stewardship drive. We are now $22,731 away from fully funding our budget. That last 20,000 plus matters because it shows up in the programs we love the most. At this point, we have almost every pledge accounted for, so this gap will only close if those of us who have already pledged increase or if new households step in. If each household increased by about $8 to $10 a month, we would close the gap right now. So if you have already pledged, please take one more look. And if you have not pledged yet, it is not too late, but we only have a short grace period. Every dollar matters right now, and no matter what, we are truly grateful for the generosity of this church. Now, we have an announcement from the Ministerial Search Committee.
Thank you, Diane. Oh, I don't have it up on my phone yet. 1 second. All right. You know us. We're Vanessa and Ruth. Hello. There you go. We're part of the Ministerial Search Committee. This week, we shared our newsletter with the schedule for candidating week, which is April 18th through 26th. If you didn't receive the newsletter, it was through email. Please find a member of the MSC, and we have QR codes on our phone so that you can scan it and get access to that newsletter and see what the schedule is. There are a bunch of opportunities to meet the ministry throughout the week, so if you don't have it, please let us know. Now, just like last week, we want to remind everyone that now is the time we are passing the ministerial search baton to you and Reverend Rachel.
Because candidating week belongs to the congregation and to the ministerial candidate.
She is making her official decision to join us here in San Antonio.
Just as we are making our official decision to call her to our congregation with a vote of 90 to 95% from the members of this beloved church.
And let's remind ourselves that she is one candidate here for 10 days, and they're days to meet hundreds of us. Let's do our call and response from last week.
How many candidates will you meet?
How many days is candidate week?
How many congregants will meet the one candidate? Hundreds.
If you have any questions, please find someone from the MSC during the committee fair. Thank you so much.
And on a related note, I'm Polly Noel, President of the Board of Trustees this year. And the Board of Trustees of the First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Antonio is excited to announce that we will hold a special congregational meeting on Sunday, April 26th at 12 p.m. in the sanctuary and by Zoom, immediately following the conclusion of the worship service led by Reverend Rachel Hayes. The agenda will focus on a single item of business: to call Reverend Rachel Hayes as our next settled minister. In advance of the April 26th meeting, there will be multiple opportunities for the congregation to engage with Reverend Hayes and hear her preach twice during candidating week, April 18th through April 26th. And as allowed by our bylaws and rules adopted by the board for governing the conduct of hybrid congregational meetings, the required 20% quorum for the meeting will be established based on the total number of eligible voting members who are either physically or electronically present at the beginning of the meeting. Eligible voting members who are physically present will be checked in prior to the worship service. Eligible voting members will also receive a separate YouTube link that will also allow them to be checked in and participate in the meeting electronically. Once the meeting has been called to order, the presentation of the agenda items should, hopefully, take 15 minutes or less. An email with more details about the meeting and the voting process will be distributed this afternoon to members. In addition, I will briefly add that based upon poll results of member preferences, the special congregational meeting, a separate special congregational meeting requested by the recent petition, will be held in combination with the previously scheduled May 17th annual congregational meeting. The call for this meeting will be issued on Sunday, May 3rd, with additional details. Thank you very much.
Wow, what a blessing to sit up here and hear that and feel that choir sing. Amazing. This is the time for our stone ceremony. The combination of the two, water and rock, reminds us of the impermanence of all states of being, despite how unchanging they may appear at first glance. Like water, time is also a universal solvent, changing everything in its wake. Consider those changes time makes in your own life, and find the unchanging stone center of your own self. I now invite you to come forward for our stone ceremony. We just have a couple comments in our community book of life. We are thankful for the rain. And this might have been put in last week, but I think it's still appropriate. Much love to our UU tribe as we sail these changing winds and currents. And personal note of privilege. Several years ago, Mike Phillips and I were part of a group of members who traveled to Hungary and Romania visiting Unitarian churches and congregations. We are all hoping for the best in Hungary's elections today. We're hoping the elections are fair and peaceful, and that our Hungarian Unitarian friends all get out to vote.
Welcome. I'm here today for Story Wisdom. All the young and young at heart, come on down. Yes. Hello. Thank you for coming. All right. Okay, great. All right. Now, I need to sit where you can see this. Ah, good. This book is called We Are Water Protectors. It's a story of a young girl who is a member of the Ojibwe tribe. The Ojibwe people live up in the north of the United States, from Minnesota all the way over to Wisconsin, and especially they love to live, if they can, around those Great Lakes because the water is pure and beautiful.
Like Mississippi?
No, that's too far south. But so anyway,
The Mississippi River.
we have our book. It's called this is her talking to her grandmother. Water is the first medicine. Water also nourishes our bodies here on earth. And water is sacred, she said. Our people say we stand with our songs and our drums, and we are still here. The river's rhythm runs through my veins, she says, and runs through my people's veins. My people talk of a black snake that will destroy the land, spoil the water, poison plants and animals, wreck everything in its path. When my people first spoke of the black snake, they foretold that it wouldn't come for many, many years. Now, the black snake is here. Its venom burns the land, courses through the water, making it unfit to drink. Do you think this is a picture of a real snake?
No, that looks like dirty water.
Dirty
No,
water?
that looks like a pipe. A pipe?
A pipe it is.
Oil.
And you're right. What smart kids. It is a pipe, and a pipe is not dangerous until it gets filled with oil, and it's still not dangerous until the pipes start to leak. And unfortunately, oil pipes leak before they're even finished installing them a lot of times, and so that's what makes it very bad. So, yes. So really, since they leak oil on the water and on the ground, they shouldn't be anywhere near the water, should they?
No.
So what can this girl do about it? She doesn't wait. She says, "Take courage. I must keep the black snake away from my village's water. I must rally my people together to stand for the water, to stand for land, to stand as one against the black snake." It will not be easy. We fight for those who cannot fight for themselves, the winged ones, the crawling ones, the four-legged, the two-legged, the plants, the rivers, the trees, the lakes.
Cool, that actually looks pretty.
And the earth, the whole earth. We are all related.
Look,
Yeah, there's four-legged, two-legged,
no-legged, zero-legged.
no-legged. So when things like this happen, first you get brave and then maybe you get a little bit scared. So tears like waterfalls are streaming down, tracking down my face, tracking down my people's faces. So, but Nagi, which is what I call the little indigenous girl, is water has its own spirit, Nakoma's told me. Water is alive. Water remembers our ancestors who came before us, she said. We are stewards of the earth. Our spirits have not been broken. And here is how we fight. We don't fight with our fists. When something is important, we fight with our words, we fight with our actions, we stand. And the black snake is in for the fight of its life. We don't fight with our fists, do we? No, we fight with our words and actions. We speak, we draw, we write letters and poems, we march, and we never give up hope. They're having fun now, aren't they? Thank you so much for coming down here. And now, welcome to go outside and play, I guess, if it's not raining. Okay, thank you so much.
Can y'all hear me okay? Hi, I'm Marisol Cortez. Thank you so much for having us here today with you, for inviting us. I'm a writer here in San Antonio, as is my partner Greg, who'll be speaking with you later. We co-edit Deceleration, which is a journal of environmental justice for South Texas. And I had thought to read a poem, but then just sort of as we were coordinating what we wanted to share today, I thought it might make more sense to share a little bit, kind of the opening part of a piece that I wrote a couple of years ago for a friend of mine, Jessica Witzel, who passed away during one of the heat domes that we had in the kind of peak of summer a couple years ago. And so this is from a piece called "The Woman Who Died in the Heat on a San Antonio Sidewalk Was My Friend." Jessica Witzel was already at Bulverde Elementary when I arrived in second grade, a new kid from San Antonio in a bizarre, middle-of-nowhere rural landscape. Jessica Witzel played flute in middle school band with me. She wore layers of black and purple lace and Wiccan necklaces and painted her fingernails black. She wore black t-shirts with the names of alternative bands on them, The Cure, Skinny Puppy. She was older and wiser, intimidatingly cool. She'd seen Morrissey live. What had he sounded like? I wanted to know. I was impressed. His singing was impeccable, she said. He hit every note pitch perfect, sounded just like his albums. Jessica Witzel was a year ahead of me in high school. We were never close friends, but she hung out with kids I hung out with. The weird kids, the band kids, the art kids, the smart but troubled kids. She lived in a trailer with her younger sister, Jemmy, next door to one of my best friends in high school, a tall kid named Chris with a bowl haircut and preternatural artistic ability. It was Chris who introduced me to the kid who much later would become my older son's dad, then my ex. But before that, Jessica was Miguel's first love, his first real girlfriend. Later, we lived above Jessica in a rented fourplex on East Cortland, across from San Antonio College, where I moved right after college. She worked as an exotic dancer, which had intrigued me enough to interview her for a feminist theory class. She had exotic pets, a ferret, a parrot. Her apartment was cluttered and packed with stuff, an early sign of the hoarding struggles she would later develop. Jessica was married, briefly, to a guy who was half Mexican and half white like us. I remember seeing their wedding photo, Jess in a long purple velvet dress holding her pregnant belly, like she would a globe, with glitter on her eyelids and shoulder-length bob dyed red. She looked beautiful. Jessica lived in different apartment complexes around town after she moved out of the fourplex, and sometimes we'd visit her. She spoke too fast, and often so much it was hard to get a word in edgewise. She said she'd been diagnosed bipolar, that she was taking medication. Jessica wasn't married long, but from that marriage, she had one son, Antares, named for the brightest star in the constellation Scorpius. Once, we visited from California and hung out with Jess and another high school friend. Antares was about 18 months then, shy and sweet. I had never been around babies much as an adult and was enraptured with him. I followed him around and around the restaurant as he explored, feeling for the first time like I could imagine having a child of my own. When we moved back to San Antonio from Kansas, Jessica was living on Blanco with Antares, then 7 or 8, in a small 2-bedroom duplex just south of Hildebrand, near the traffic circle. On returning to Texas, my ex moved in with Jessica temporarily while he looked for his own place, and when our 4-year-old was with his dad, he'd stay with Jessica and Antares too. The duplex was small and crowded with stuff, like her other places had been, but the kids seemed happy. I remember going over and watching them play with a litter of kittens. They'd named things like Black Shadow and Orange Ninja. Jessica's son had a video game where you placed figurines from The Last Airbender on top of the console and the characters would magically appear on screen. Eventually, my ex found his own place, but Jessica remained a family friend until the end of her life, a sister to my ex, an aunt or godmother to my child. I was never as close to Jessica as they were, but I'd gone to school with her. I'd grown up with her. Jessica died on the street in the heat on August 22nd, 2024. She'd been homeless for more than a year by that point, after losing the duplex on Blanco Road where she'd lived for years. She hadn't been able to hold on to housing. She developed schizophrenia and had started lighting fires inside the house. Thank you.
And now, if we could just take a collective breath together, breathe in and hold, and breathe out. And once again, breathe in and hold. And breathe out. And now, I'm going to deliver a visioning for the message to come. We have come here today as a spiritual community, knowing that this planet that we live on, sometimes called Gaia, is struggling to sustain us. With that groundwork, take yourself to the Mojave Desert, partially in our state of Nevada. You're standing in the area called Death Valley. This place makes San Antonio feel cool. You're experiencing 120-degree heat, and with very little shade for relief. Try to imagine living in such a space. Now, consider if this heat was to descend upon your everyday life. Your AC is not able to manage the heat, and it dies. You are left to sweat it out. Is this what Gaia, our Earth, feels like today? Is its immune system, like our own, more and more stressed? If you continue to ignore this stress, our ecological crisis will only get worse. Death Valley will expand to more places. The earth is our mother. We must take care of her. The earth is our mother. We must take care of her. Now, return to this time and this space where the AC does work, where you are sitting in your sanctuary, as you do on Sunday mornings. We are back to our everyday lives to listen to today's message.
Greetings. It's an honor to sit and absorb the spirit of this room today as a visitor and as a fellow traveler on Mother Earth. And I thank you all for the invitation to come and share reflections from Deceleration, from myself, my partner Marisol, who you met. And it's an honor to speak to you today in what feels increasingly like apocalypse. You see over here Albert Garcia, and you heard a bit about Jessica Witzel. Both of them victims of extreme heat in San Antonio, both of them unmarked or unrecognized as neighbors of ours who were killed by the heat that we generate primarily through fossil fuels. We carry their stories as documentarians and in witness for our current Earth crisis. My name is Greg Harman. I'm the founder of Deceleration, currently working as the managing editor. This is a journal of environmental justice based here in San Antonio. We're going into our 10th year. And our intention is to serve as sort of a bioregional witness in the midst of so many colliding crises that sometimes are referred to as the poly crisis, but also as a space where we generate and celebrate solutions making. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. I came to San Antonio in 2007, so going on 20 years myself. And one of the first things I found, I wanted to commit myself to, how many of in here, probably some of y'all are trained with the Texas Master Naturalist program? There's one over here, back here. And there's the Master Gardeners are related. The Master Naturalist program was so vital to me in settling into a new home territory. You spend several months meeting, you learn about, where water comes from, your watershed. You learn about the plants, the other species you share the land with. You learn about the geology and the environmental history that early European explorers would have met these landscapes with native grasses that were thigh-high in the saddle, a very different land in many ways. And so that orientation was really useful to me. One thing we didn't do was kind of a cosmological orientation, which I think could be integrated in the future. We've done that in here. You heard about Gaia and Mother Earth, and these songs and these reflections and these meditations are touching. And so I don't want to spend too much time on the crisis, but reserve time to talk about how it impacts us, our grief, and how that limits our action, right? But it's good to also, in that cosmological orientation, sometimes it's our language. If we think about, going to see a beautiful sunrise, it's not the sun that's rising. We are each of us planted on planet Earth, on Mother Earth, moving, which is turning at 1,000 miles an hour, chasing after the sun at 67,000 miles an hour. When the sun appears to be rising, it's us planted on our mother, turning towards the sun. And so I encourage you to take time this week or sometime when you have the opportunity to see a sunset or a sunrise, plant your feet, take a breath as we just did, and remind yourself, remember where you are in relationship to everything else. It's a very key meditation that I want to offer and encourage. The collapse that we're moving through right now is overwhelming in scale, in speed, in intensity. We've all been reading and kind of many of the same headlines or documentaries. I feel like there's an awareness in this room that I don't need to beat on that. The conversation, though, it's important. A couple key facts. This is Earth, when we talk about the hottest year on record again and again, and the last 10 are all lining up as our top 10. We're talking about the hottest on planet Earth in over 120,000 years. It's not just beating 1980 or 1970. Essentially, since humankind began migrating out of Africa, if not deeper than that. And it's accelerating. And it will continue to do so as long as we remain committed to fossil fuels, as long as we remain to development patterns that eradicate forests and poison our oceans. David Suzuki, the environmental activist out of Canada, was pretty frank a few months ago and got some pushback from a comment that they made that it's too late. And what they mean by that, For a long time, the environmental movement has foregrounded prevention, right? And I worked for 5 years trying to shut down coal plants in San Antonio, so I'm aware of this emphasis. We need to stop this to prevent that. And now we're in a position where the worst manifestations we've all been warned about are already occurring. And there's a short distance, a short horizon that we're navigating. And just hearing that, I'm sure some of you, like the heart goes up, the tension in our chest around our face gets tighter. We're faced also, because of this circumstance we find ourselves in, navigating immense grief. Preparing just the words to come up here and to say out loud, to, like, even as someone who writes about this every week, essentially that grief can be paralyzing. I found a few I've had to, by necessity, ways through grief to continue to serve as a witness and continue to organize and envision and work to enact alternative paths forwards. One of them I think I want to share a bit about. So deceleration, while we focus on the land from our sacred springs that flow to the Gulf and along the cultural migration and pathways of our borderlands, that's our home territory, that's our bioregion. But sometimes we travel outside of that to collect knowledge and to stitch movements together. Recently we went to the Black Hills, Hesapa, for a World Wilderness Congress. It's a global convening every 4 years. The leading conservation scientists, biologists, ecologists meet at a different place around the world, along with our indigenous leaders and tribal elders, to kind of divine what's changing in the world, what needs to be prioritized, and to push for policies at an international level. So we went to the Black Hills, which is the center of all that is, the center of being for the Lakota, Dakota, and Nakota people. And what I heard there and witnessed, I want to bring some of it back to you. In the foyer there is a copy of this, Indigenous Peoples Open Treaty Honoring Grandmother Earth. I'm going to read just a passage in a moment, but I encourage you to spend time with it. They welcome non-Indigenous signatories. The church could sign on, and I'll be happy to share this with them. But navigating grief, partly, I think, for me, going to this conference and to hear over and over through, the science track, while in other rooms there was an Indigenous elders track, and they come together at the end to kind of present statements to vote on, these priorities I was talking about. And throughout the entire conference, one thing I heard was, there's only one task for each of us. We have one job, and that job is the restoration and regeneration of Grandmother Earth. If you're worried and anxious about your career, that's part of the equation. We have to work, but our number one job for the rest of our lives has been settled for us. So when I heard that took away a lot of my anxiety. Like, I don't have to prioritize things. I know what the job is. The job is a sustainable and habitable planet for future generations and the well-being of those with us today. I also recorded a conversation, a presentation by an Indigenous elder, an Aleut elder named Ilarian Makuriev, who bears the title of Kuyak among his people. In their culture, there's only ever one Kuyak, and this was it. And he took the stage at the end of this convening to say, I am the last Kuyak. There's only two pathways available to us moving forward. One, each of us becomes Kuyak. The alternative being industrial human society dissolves. He said it's no longer a time of great leaders, but a time for all of us to remember who we are. The memory is of our place on planet Earth, our relationship with all life around us, what I'm hearing reflected back in this service. So thank you for expressing all of that beauty and to holding up that mirror and that reminder. The treaty which we signed, Deceleration signed, we are the second non-Indigenous treaty signer, reads that at this time of great imbalance and global crisis, for the health of Grandmother Earth and all those who reside upon her lap and within her embrace, including our natural relatives and our future generations, and in Lakota spirit of Wo Lakota, we solemnly declare as a natural extension of our familial relationship with Grandmother Earth, our natural relatives and future generations, our common and sacred commitment to join in healing her wounds. Grief is interesting in this ecological sense. When you consider, Gaia was mentioned earlier, James Lovelock, while all indigenous traditions and tribes and communities across the planet held, the majority held this idea of being embedded in our mother, on Mother Earth, right? That was lost. Western science, capitalism, expanding markets, white nationalists, all of this colonialism eradicated that from a lot of our lives and memory. But it's, James Lovelock proposed a few decades ago this idea of Gaia theory and inserted that within the debate within academic and scientific traditions, right? It got a lot of pushback and caused a lot of consternation. But what's less maybe controversial is what you may hear in a Carl Sagan documentary. And this has gone back to many great thinkers and scientists, that the human mind, the human experience on Earth, this is the Earth or the universe or the cosmos coming into awareness of herself. So what does that mean for the grief that we feel over the fate of our planet and all of our relations, right? Could it be that the Earth herself is grieving and we are sort of the antenna, we're resonating with that grief? Because we're not alone. It's important. The other thing that has really helped me move through and into living with grief is that we're not alone in it. We're sharing it together here in this space, in part. But I believe that the Earth herself emanates this kind of suffering that we intuit. So it's important that awe, experiencing a sunrise as a traveler of the planet, reflecting upon the Earth's grief and pain, understanding we have one task in front of us. These things kind of knock down apathetic or despair response to these challenges for me. And in our process of bearing witness in San Antonio, one of the manifestations that we see of the global climate crisis, of course, is heat. We've started carrying around little heat, like temperature gauges around the city. Albert Garcia, Marisol got engaged with Albert originally when we were in our neighborhood getting on the highway, and we just saw this crumpled body on a rare kind of soggy San Antonio day in the mud. And Marisol wanted to rush out and speak to them and at least give them an umbrella. And he wasn't able to really respond, but I remember she left the umbrella propped over his body, right? And in the year plus from that point on, she worked with, council aides, homeless, outreach teams, volunteers, street medics from Yanawana Herbolarios. And it took over a year to get Albert into housing, right? In the span of that time, Winter Storm Uri happened and he lost both of his feet. His campmate described to me how his toes, when he checked his toes, they were hurting. His toes just rolled off into the river. So he'd already lived through one climate shock, which was the wobble of the polar vortex sliding over Texas and northern Mexico. After being housed for just over a year, Albert was back in the neighborhood saying that there had been abuse in the care facility. We struggled to get him connected with responders. In 3 weeks, Albert was dead. Under a highway off-ramp in our neighborhood. There was nothing we could do to stop it. It was the hottest summer in San Antonio's history, 2023. And again, another hottest summer ever on planet Earth. The next year, Jessica Witzel was living unhoused in the Five Points area. We went back again and tracked. We got their autopsies. We've been reviewing their stories. And Jessica had the police called on her for trying to cool herself with a garden hose on a private home property, right? In the next day, collapsed and died in the parking lot outside of a gas station. When they checked Jessica Witzel's body temperature post-mortem, it was 126 degrees Fahrenheit. Our medical examiner in Bexar County did not list heat as a primary cause or even a secondary contributing cause of death, as with Albert. And what we found, a climate scientist more recently at Texas A&M, I interviewed them for a story, they found that only 1 out of every 6 likely heat-related deaths are being tracked in the state of Texas. So there's a huge humanitarian, human public health crisis ongoing that's totally invisible. It's left to suspicion and anecdote and that sort of thing. And so part of our work documenting and holding this up is to change policy. Later this month, city council members will consider in the health committee meeting finally committing themselves to tracking heat deaths. You do that, that's like rudimentary, that's ground level stuff in a climate crisis. You do that so that you can prevent the ones to come. Because it's not just the unhoused community. There are people that are cooking in their homes that don't have the resources to turn on an AC when they have one, right? They are being logged as, organ failure, heart attack. It's not just daytime temperatures, but nighttime temperatures are staying elevated. Albert died, it was over 90 degrees, 96 degrees at their campsite at midnight when they finally came to get his body, okay? So one thing I want to do, that's a lot of hard information. Again, I told you I wasn't going to do that, but it's important that we honor, we recognize the lives that are being lost because it's a forecast. Like nothing has been telegraphed as certainly and clearly as this climate crisis, decades now. But I want to leave you with one reflection, maybe a very short meditation, so that you can recover the tools that you need to protect your heart and give you courage to move forward, okay? And if you'd like to, you can close your eyes. You can place your feet on the ground, feel your position on the planet, your cosmological alignment. We're going to travel into the future, right? We traveled to Death Valley a few minutes ago. This time we're going to take a breath, hold it for a moment, and release. We're going to rise from where we are seated and travel wherever you need to go, but you're going forward into the future. It may be 1,000 years, 10,000 years, millions of years. Go where you need to go to find the earth restored, renewed, in balance, healthy water, a thriving planet where things are right. Land in that space and take a breath. And exhale. Think about where you are. Do you hear anything? What do you see? Are there certain smells? What do you feel in your body to be in such a place? And I want you to hold that vision, smell, sensation. You may want to clutch it in your hand or place it inside of a stone or a crystal. and come back to the present moment, holding that memory of the future. With a breath, you can come back to the space together. Grief can be overwhelming. It can be, it can freeze us. We can get stuck. But when we understand our grief is something all of us are experiencing, it's something the earth herself is experiencing, and that we're carrying a witness, and that grief is a signal of our love. You don't grieve without love. So that capacity for love is what moves you forward. The opportunities of doing things differently are here, they're vast, there's so many things that can be done, but you have to, number one, protect your heart, nourish your soul, so that you can move forward together. Thank you.
Now it is time for our offertory. Our church has a larger purpose to support all of us in becoming more generous and giving of our time, talents, and treasure, all in a context of trust. Would the ushers please come forward to collect this morning's offering?
You can look to the stars in search of the answers. Look for God or life on distant planets. Have your faith in the ever after, while each of us holds inside the map to the labyrinth. Heaven's here on earth. In our faith in human. We are the spirit, the collective conscience. We create the pain and the suffering and the beauty in this world. Heaven's in our hearts. If we have faith in humankind and respect for what is earthly and an unfaltering belief in peace and love and understanding, this could be heaven here on earth.
May these gifts expand and enrich the ministries of our church. Now we invite you to join us in the closing hymn, number 175, We Celebrate the Web of Life.
Thank you, Center, Power of Spirit, for coming at our need. Go if you must, stay if you will. Thank you, Earth, for coming at our need. Go if you must, stay if you will. Thank you, powers of West and the water, for coming at our need. Go if you must, stay if you will. Thank you, South, power of fire, for coming at our need. Go if you must, stay if you will. Thank you, powers of East and the air, for coming at our need. Go if you must, stay if you will. Blessed be.